Hi, this is Will Phillips, the founder of Rex Roundtables. One of the reasons for joining a roundtable is accountability. I know you all are concerned about accountability downward for your employees, but there's also an executive owner accountability that is very critical for the highest level of performance. This is somewhat humorous, but quite true. Most owners of privately held businesses are accountable to no one. You're not accountable to a board or any owners. You're not accountable to your staff. You're not accountable to your spouse. You're not even really accountable to your lenders because you figured out how to bamboozle them all the time. So the question is, who really holds your feet to the fire? And the answer is often no one. This is critical because in every business there are areas that you don't have a great talent in, or you may not have a great interest in. If you just look at your desk or your to-do list, it tends to be the things that drop to the bottom of the list or don't quite get done. It can also be the things that are a little bit difficult or challenging to do, like deciding to replace a key employee who's not bad, but not good. The emotional challenge of that means that sometimes you'll end up with a team for years of people who are B players. And you keep trying to do all kinds of things to improve their performance, but it's not working because they can't perform at that level. You need to be held accountable on moving forward on personnel decisions like this. This can also be the reason why your non-dues revenue is not ramping up. It can be the reason why your personal training hasn't really grown in size up into double digits. It can be the reasons why your sales are kind of slow because you're not oriented towards sales or sales and marketing, and both of those things get just a little bit less attention than they need. Without you being held accountable to take action to address these issues, things drift. When you're in a roundtable, every meeting that you come to, you'll be asked to give an update about what's happening. It's a little bit like having your own informal board that you're giving a board report to. In this case, it's your peers and also your friends. But the requirement of being ready to report on a regular basis about how you're following up and following through is one way of holding you accountable. In many roundtables, if things drag on too long, you'll find that your fellow roundtable members, in their care for you, will turn up the heat. This often gets a breakthrough in performance. I wanted to go over 7 reasons why you should not consider joining a roundtable. The first reason is that you're not willing to share openly and fully about how things are going at work or about how you're doing at work. All of us will share a little bit, but it's the last 5% where the truth emerges usually and where differences can be made. And if you're more concerned about looking good or protecting yourself from any kind of probing questions from your peers, don't join a Rex Roundtable. The second reason for not joining a Rex Roundtable is if it's difficult for you to admit that something is wrong or that you've made an error. If it's more important to protect your ego than to learn, don't join a Rex Roundtable. Real learning, breakthrough learning, where you get different results, invariably requires you to have some breakthrough thinking to produce the breakthrough actions, to produce the breakthrough results. If you keep having the same kind of thinking, you'll get the same kind of actions and the same kind of results. Now here's the challenge. When you attempt to move from your conventional or usual ways of thinking into some exceptional ways of thinking, you're moving into new territory. It's not a cookbook. there aren't answers. You're at the edge of your comfort zone, and you will feel uncomfortable. If you're not willing to have that experience of being uncomfortable or even a little scared when you're moving into a new way of thinking, you can't really progress with real breakthrough learning. Don't join a Rex Roundtable if you don't have that inkling of courage to move into some new areas. The third reason for not joining a Rex Roundtable is if you're convinced that you're entirely happy with the way your business and your life are now. Why join? This is not a social club. This is an improving business performance organization that will also improve the quality of your life. And if they're fine, don't join. The fourth reason for not joining a Rex Roundtable is if you're not willing to be honest in confronting your fellow Roundtable members. None of us knows everything, but collectively, together, we can see and know an awful lot. And so while an individual member may believe that they're on target and on track and doing the right things to drive their business forward, as the other members of the Roundtable listen here, particularly over time, you'll notice things that don't fit. And the question is, will you challenge that Roundtable member or will you let it slide by? If you'd prefer to be liked and to be nice, a Rex Roundtable isn't for you, because we do some fairly tough thinking. The fifth reason for not joining a Rex Roundtable, if you're not smart. Now, some of you may think that everybody else in the Roundtable may be smarter than you, but that's extremely unlikely and rare. But you do need to have an IQ over 100 to join a Rex Roundtable. The sixth reason that a Roundtable will not work for you is if you have an extremely immediate, short-term focus in everything you do in business. If your focus is only on what's happening today or what you're going to do next week or at most next month's promotion, Rex Roundtable may not be the greatest benefit for you because we try to take a much longer-term view. I always remember the story that I heard when we started sending men to the moon. And they said, you know, we aim the rocket in exactly the right direction, but things happen and it will get off course. And if you wait until you're almost at the moon to make that course correction, it's a huge correction. But if you start way back here making little corrections because you know where you're going to head, you can make smaller corrections and stay on course. So in our roundtables, we try to take a longer-term view since it makes it easier to make corrections and stay on course. So if you don't have a little bit of a long-term view of where you want your business and your life to go, don't consider joining a Rex Roundtable. The seventh reason for not joining a Rex Roundtable is if you're unwilling to share your successes, your secret sauces. It turns out that no club does everything perfectly or even as well as it could be done, even if it's not perfect. But every club is doing things right. And the way we get better in a roundtable is by pooling all these getting betters so that everyone can take advantage of them. In fact, we even have a $1 million nuggets program where at each roundtable we ask each member to share just one short little nugget of something they have figured out and how they operate their business, or save costs on their utilities, or plan their day, or give quick performance reviews, and the list goes on and on and on. So at each roundtable we collect, we take about 45 minutes and collect one nugget from everyone, and we pull these all together, and we not only share them within the roundtable, but across all roundtables, so that during a year there's hundreds of these little ideas that people have figured out on how to do something well. As some of them are rather stunning, and since you've been doing it all your life, you don't think to share it, but when others hear it, they say, wow, Why didn't I think of that? That is so simple. So, one of the major ways that people get tremendous return on their investment of time and money by being in a Rex Roundtable is this full, complete sharing of ideas and successes. If you want to keep everything secret, don't join a Rex Roundtable.